3 builds that will fly you from level 1 to 100 with the Necromancer, and dominating in the endgame with the supercharged uniques. We got Bone Spear, Blood Surge, and still the good old pure minions. Let's start with Blood Surge first. What changed that makes it so incredible? And then skills to take from 1 to 50 and 50 to 100. The biggest change being the gloves, Crew's Embrace. They have a new skill called Blood Surge drains plus 3 times from elites. This will essentially, with Master working later on, increase the damage versus bosses by up to 30% multiplicative on the Blood Surge, and then everything is going to get multiplied up even further. Pair that together with the new Blood Moon Breaches, which are now giving 150% multiplicative more damage instead of 70%, and we'll see Blood Surge finally be where it should be. And as a cherry on top, the Death Speaker's Pendant, which makes Blood Surge minions go off the charts, now has ranks in Blood Surge and the attack speed, plus you're getting bonus essence per enemy drained by Blood Surge. This is going to be good. For the skill tree, I got 2 versions for you, the 50 to 100 and the 1 to 50. Because the 1 to 50 is quite different. You're going to have the Blood Surge, fully leveled up to Paranormal Blood Surge, but you're also playing Corpse Explosion in the beginning because it's simply for free and can produce some nice essence, and we'll be rocking Iron Maiden until we're level 50 as our essence production, as we're actually going to run Death Approach for bonus movement speed, but later do not have the points anymore for it. Important is to take Necrotic Carapace as early as possible, since this will provide us with a huge amount of Fortify. And the final 3 points you're going to put are the Bone Storm, the Prime Bone Storm, and the Supreme Bone Storm, since we're not going to be using Bone Storm until we're essentially level 50 and also do swap back over to Decrepify. And yes, we're playing Callan's Edict over Darathmas Vigor for the simple reason that Callan's Edict provides us with attack speed for the minions for more damage, but we don't have to be using any more aspects to actually boost the minions' attack speed. And in comparison to that, Darathmas Vigor would give us 1 overpower every 12 seconds, and we're not making blood orbs, so we can't reduce the time of the Darathmas Vigor. That's where Callan's Edict is just so much better. Your skill tree 1 to 50 looks like this: Blood Surge, Corpse Explosion, Ray Skeleton, Iron Maiden, Golem, and also Corpse Tendrils, which then from 50 to 100 will be having the Bone Storm going on. And yes, in the 1 to 50, until you have the Golem, you can essentially use your basic skill. But as soon as you have the Golem, your basic skill would just fly out and you won't need it anymore, as Cold Skeleton Mages will provide more than enough essence. And as our aspects, we're going to be running the Darathmas Chosen on the weapon. 50% bonus attack speed, which goes also over to the minions. 36% from Callan's Edicts, 50% from Darathmas Chosen. They're almost at their respective attack speed cap they need to be at. Then we're going to get the Skeleton Mages to cast twice, bonus blood damage, resource cost reduction, maximum life, and overpower damage. On our boots, we're going to get essence per second and boost the maximum amount of skeletons we have. Plus then the new Blood Moon Breaches with a 150% multiplier, the new Crew's Embrace that will give us bonus boss hits with the Blood Surge for damage multipliers, and we're playing the aspect of Shielding Storm, which finally calculates off max life. And as we're going for 50, 60,000 max life, having then the aspect of Shielding Storm will be insane. Hardened Bones for the damage reduction, and also essence per second and essence per second here, that we truly never run out of essence, and our Blood Surge can just go away with maximum attack speed. We're getting the 50% from Darathmas Chosen. We're going to go for attack speed on our ring to bring the minions to 100% and me to 100% with crit chance and maximum life. And we're actually playing the Ring of Mendeln. As our minions are clapping away, they're with us anyways. We're going for crit and overpower, and it gives us even more minion attack speed. Plus nowadays, some damage and intelligence bonus, and well, the huge amount of ranks to all the Skeleton Warriors, Mages, Golems for even more damage multipliers. The Ring of Mendeln can technically be replaced through the Ring of Starless Skies, but well, we're not going to have the Ring of Starless Skies early, if ever. And then lastly, the new Death Speaker's Pendant, which gives us essence, even more attack speed again, more ranks to Blood Surge, Coalesce Blood, rubies in the weapon, rubies in the armor, and diamonds in our jewelry. And for the Paragon board, we're trying to boost as much max life as we can, together with the Territorial Glyph for the bonus damage reduction. Our Crew's Embrace consumes corpses, so we can play Flesh Eater together with Corporal for the bonus movement speed. For the Paragon board, we'll try to take as much max life as we can everywhere, together with Territorial for the bonus damage reduction. Then we're going upwards into the Flesh Eater board, because Cruising Breeze is going to consume these corpses that our Reapers are making. Plus, we're getting the damage to elites, resistance, and the Corporal Glyph for the 10% physical damage. We will get even more life from the Bone Graft board, together with the Exploit Glyph for more damage versus vulnerable, into the full Cult Leader board that we can get Debt Razor, which is another damage multiplier with some Skeletal Mage damage, as these are our secondary main damage, with the new buffed Bloodbath, which is now 70% instead of 35%, even more max life on the side, and the Essence Glyph for these super overpowered critical strikes. And then lastly into the Scent of Death board with the Dominate Glyph on 40 willpower and a little bit more max life and shadow resistance. The build will absolutely fly you to level 100. And with the buffs to the Death Speaker's Pendants, Blood Moon Breaches, and also Cruel's Embrace, and the Infernal Hordes shouldn't be opposing any kind of problem, especially not the Infernal Hordes, as you're just sucking everyone dry around you, and getting barrier after barrier after barrier with the Shielding Storm. Next up, we get Bone Spear that's looking juicy with Bone Spear, Bone Prison, Blood Mist, Bone Storm, Corpse Tendrils, and Decrepify. Yes, no Corpse Explosion, no Corpse Interaction. Now, the 1 to 50 version looks quite different though, because we're going to be playing the Bone Spear together with the Iron Maiden for the Essence, and then Corpse Explosion, Corpse Tendrils, Golem, and Raised Skeletons. It's simply going to be faster until you hit level 50. Which means we're going to be playing Bone Splinters until level 18 or 25 as we get the Golem, and then we throw it out. But we're also going to be running a Corpse Explosion at the beginning. Again, free corpses, free essence, free damage. We don't care later on about this, as we're just spamming Bone Spear like crazy, and the Iron Maiden for the enhanced Iron Maiden essence production. Then we're going to be boosting the Skeletal Masteries too, and get some Death Approach to move faster, make everyone vulnerable, and you can also remove the Corpse Explosion as soon as you're hitting the Army of the Dead, because Army of the Dead is just some nice damage boost that is useful in the beginning, whereas Bone Storm is completely useless in the beginning, as our skeletons are essentially tanking for us. Then Ossified Essence to round the whole thing up, but as soon as you hit level 50, the whole thing looks a bit different, as we're boosting with Imperfectly Balanced, fully the Bone Spear. We can now go for the Blood Mist with the Ghastly Blood Mist into the Bone Prison, making our cooldowns even lower, that we can cast Bone Prison the whole time. We're still moving fast with Death Approach, but we're using Decrepify for our cooldowns. We get everything maxed out here bone-wise with the Rapid Ossification, again reducing the cooldown of our Bone Prisons to truly keep everyone away from us. And then we can actually finally use the Bone Storm, because now we have no one looking out for us. And the Bone Storm is going to be so nice because we got the new updated Lidless Wall, which finally provides us with ranks into Bone Skills, so more Bone Spear damage. The lucky hit chance for the further Bone Storms got increased, and Bone Storm duration. Yes, we're getting Bone Storm duration from the Lidless Wall. It's on the table again. We can use it. Cooldown reduction, armor, it get everything we want. Even total armor percentage. This one item is enough to get you to the armor cap easily. Pair this together with a new Deathless Visage that finally gives 4 ranks into Bone Spear, and the chance for Bone Spear to cast twice. On a one-handed weapon with Masterworking, we're around 50 to almost 60% chance for Bone Spear to actually cast twice with a one-handed weapon and the helmet. Still the same good damage explosions, even more armor, so we should be armored out galore. These two uniques are already incredible. We get the Shielding Storm together with the Lidless Wall to provide insane amounts of armor and essence per second on the items, so we never run out of essence and can just spam with full essence our Bone Spears. With the Accelerating aspect for the attack speed, crit chance, critical strike damage, and ranks to Bone Spear, aspect of Hardened Bones for the damage reduction, and then we're playing the Path of Trugul. And as we're doing our Bone Prison, Bone Splinters will go out that give us more maximum essence. The more maximum essence we have, the more damage we do, as we are a Bone Spear build, together with the aspect of Serration that gives us also more critical strike damage, up to a max of 40%. But not only this, we do have Lochran's Talisman, and Lochran's Talisman gives us more crit chance and more critical strike damage the more essence we have above 100. As we're pushing this anyways above 100 with the Deathless Visage and other shenanigans, the Path of Trugul pushes this even further. It can give us about 60% more max essence, which then leads to even more crit damage multipliers. On our good boosted crit damage multiplier with the Golem anyways, more damage to vulnerable and more crit chance or resistance to all elements if you need it. And then we get the Splintering aspect for the Splintering, vulnerable, and bonus damage, plus Grasping Veins, which got slightly nerfed, but is still way too good to ever ignore this. And the Paragon board has 6 amazing glyphs to boost us, including the Corporeal in the beginning for the physical damage. Then we're going for Essence for the critical strike damage and take almost everything in the Bone Graft. To the left for even more crits, and maximum life. In the Send of Death board, we're not interacting with corpses, so Flash Eater ain't needed to actually take the legendary node, but we can get the crit and we can use Gravekeeper, as we're not interacting with corpses, but we're making corpses regardless. So we're going to always have some around us that will provide us with bonus damage. Then you get Amplify because we curse our opponents with even more maximum life in the Bloodbath board. And last but not least, Exploit Glyph down in the Cult Leader board for the bonus multiplier to vulnerable damage. The build could already clear tier 100 before Season 5. Now with Season 5 and the huge changes, it should have an easier time than ever. And the Infernal Hordes are going to be really interesting, with the Lidless Wall providing a consistent stream of armor, with the Shielding Storm now being around max life. Bone Spear might be back. And as a final one for you, we get the Mortacrux mages, which are essentially going to be corpse explosioning and corpse tunneling together with a new item, the Mortacrux, which reads following: int, crit damage, vulnerable damage, and hood flash, so even more corpses. When consuming a corpse, there's a 10 to 30% chance to also create a decaying skeletal simulacrum that seeks enemies but cannot attack. When it dies, it explodes for another 6,000 shadow damage. And while we're consistently corpse explosioning and we're consuming corpses for our raised skeleton skeletal priest to be active and heal our dudes bonus damage, we should be having a stream of these minions coming out. Pair this together with the standard Unyielding Commander bonus, then the new Ring of Mendeln, and actually Temerity being buffed, because Temerity goes all the way up to 100% of your maximum life as Barrier. 50,000 life, 50,000 Barrier, with your Skeletal Priest healing you. Skill tree for this one is quite simple. You're going to be playing Blood Surge in the beginning until level 25, when you actually have your Golem, and then you don't even need Blood Surge anymore, because your Corpse Explosions together with your Skeletal Warrior Masteries and your Mages are going to be taking care of everything. No, in this case, we don't even need Iron Maiden. It's going to be the build where you cruise after your minions, they slash everything, you Corpse Explosion left, right, and center, and just have a good time. You can also engage every single time to make some corpses that you can then Corpse Tendril, pull things together, have your Army of the Dead, boom boom, and we're still playing the Shadow Blight Key passive. Despite it being nerfed, it is still a very good option. Since Callan's Edict is useless and we at least do have the Blighted aspect nerfed down to 50%, but at least 50%. Then aspect of Reanimation on the ring together with the Ring of Mendeln, Occult Dominion on the boots, and also Frenzied Dead currently on our gloves. Now, if you do manage to get enough attack speed on your gloves and on your rings together with greater affixes, the Frenzied Dead could be going out for Inner Calm. You could put in the aspect of the Great Feast for even more damage as well. Lastly, the Bloodgetter's aspect to actually heal you, and there is Turiel's Might. I would highly recommend to pick this one up, as it works for many builds and many different characters. It will shoot out these cool explosions whenever you use a skill, and we're consistently going to be spamming one of the things. Then we're playing the Shadow Double Cast Mages into the Reapers, and we sacrifice for the critical strike damage on the Golem. Paragon board boasting the Amplify for more curse damage, then Dead Razor with a little bit of mage damage happening, into also the Flesh Eater for more crit with the Gravekeeper, as we're going to have tons of corpses around us. Despite actually using them, we're also making new ones. Then Exploit in the Bone Graft board for bonus maximum life, together with the Send of Death for the damage reduction and the Control Glyph, pulling things together, more damage. Now Essence Glyph in the Bloodbath board, even more life. Yes, we want that life. That Temerity is giving us a super max life barrier. And then lastly, the Darkness Glyph for a little bit more damage reduction and shadow damage on the minions, with a little bit of shadow damage to boost our Mortacrux further upwards. Which is it going to be for you? Surge, Spear, or is it looking like standard pure minions, each able to farm the tier 100 and Infernal Hordes? Now, the true king for deep pushing will be Bone Spirit, but let's be real, leveling with Bone Spirit is atrocious. But if you already want to see how amazing it can perform on top of these builds actually, check it out and have a fantastic good rest of your days. Thanks for watching.